Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ms. Adia Shazad and I'm here with another video on component 1. This particular video focuses on question number 2, A and B, which is focusing on source 3 specifically. Let's take a look at source 3. This particular source is an extract from an internet blog on energy written in the United States in 2021. The world's energy problems must be solved by the rich industrialized countries is the heading, or you may say the state opening statement. So the best way to look at it is to see how strong the content is. Does it include statistical data? How updated is it? Does it include experience or reliable data from experts? Or is it just opinionated? Is it biased? Does it include opinions? So that's how you take a look at it. The world's energy problems must be solved by the rich industrialized countries. What are the strengths and weaknesses of the argument supporting this claim? The extract has been taken from a blog post from 2021 from the US, which is quite recent and relatable. It focuses on the statistical data presented and backed by Oxfam, which makes it a strength. This data talks about global emissions, hence making it applicable worldwide, ensuring reliability. The credibility of the source is weak as it is relevant to the US only, thus making it difficult to generalize. The author's expertise or field of expertise cannot be gauged as the name of the blog nor the author is mentioned, lacking credibility, making it a weakness. The text is more opinionated and biased with barely any counter argument, thus making it a weak claim. If you look at it, we can understand that you can usually find 4 to 6 strengths and weaknesses alongside. However, you need to be very sure what you are focusing on. That is what will help you write a solid and a sound answer to convince the reader. The best thing is to look at the source which it has been taken from, as the date, if it is mentioned, it tells you if it is updated or outdated. If the author is mentioned, you get to know if the author is credible. If the statistical data is mentioned, you get to know is it backed by a credible source or not. That helps you identify the strengths, and if they're not present, it makes weaknesses. So the pro tip for this is to focus on the number of strengths and weaknesses equally and ensure you present the side that you want and are in favor of. Moving on, rich industrialized nations emit the most greenhouse gases. How could you test this claim? You should consider the types of information, sources of evidence, and methods you might use. Now, for this specific question, which is an 8 marks question, you should be very sure that you keep in mind the statement that is there at the top. Statement on the top here is rich industrialized nations emit the most greenhouse gases. To begin with, since it is a generalized approach, you are not going to test the claim right now. You're going to suggest how will you be testing it. To test this claim, I will begin by collecting statistical information on greenhouse gases from local and government authorities that include data from now and 10 years back to compare and see how these gases have increased as industries have progressed over the past decade. See how the point has been made and it has been developed on the point that how will it impact and how will I ensure that this point will help me test the claim. I will also take interviews from anyone from the Ministry of Climate Change, better still the minister him or herself, to inquire what is the stance to reduce the emissions. Further, I will speak to doctors, pulmonologists, specifically to inquire about the increase in respiratory issues over the past few years and how is it different in areas where industries are at a distance. I will read research reports released by the World Health Organization and watch documentaries on different channels like BBC and CNN to see how the rich industrialized nations add to greenhouse gases. I would then form questionnaires and using social media post them online to get responses from around the world. Moreover, I would survey areas from my country that are heavily industrialized versus the ones that are comparatively dependent on agriculture or other sectors, asking the locals about their health conditions and the air quality along with the causes. I will also speak to environmentalists and ask how the environment is different in areas that are industry rich in comparison to the ones that are more natural. I will then compile all this data to formulate a report to test this claim. Now, this last line is very important because whatever you're doing, you need to show what you're going to do with this. And you can also see that all the points from primary and secondary research are mentioned and they are very well developed using how and why it needs to be done. So the pro tip is to ensure each point is well developed and linking to the statement under discussion. Your answer should be coherent. So this is it for question number 2. If you follow it, you will definitely get 13 to 14 marks out of 14 specifically in question number 2. It's very important. It's very easy as long as you're able to follow the instructions and guidelines shared in this video. All the best. Thank you.